Hey, good morning, everyone. This is Andre. Yeah, I know this might be strange to some of you who may have caught my last post or my story about how I'm not on social media anymore. I feel I have a lot of things that I need to say and I want to get out there. So moving forward, I guess more or less what this will be, I will be posting to social media, but I will not be checking any social media. I don't care about views, comments, messages. I care about the people I'm sending this out to. I don't need to care about comments, views, and messages. So I'm just sitting in my car waiting for it to warm up before I go to the gym. And there were just some things on my mind, and this is going to be out of nowhere to some people. To other people, it might strike a chord. Maybe this is something you're dealing with. Maybe this is something that, you can relate to. And if so, maybe this is something that can help you. Over the last few years, Tracy and I have had several couples reach out to us for relationship advice and things of that nature. We're always honored when people reach out to us. We hear all the time, hashtag couple goals, Andre and Tracy this, that, and the other. But what people don't realize is the things that we have done to get to the point where Tracy and I are. According to social media, Tracy and I have been the couple goals or whatever for a long time. Little do people know that our relationship has been, we have been through some of the hardest and most difficult things that couples can possibly go through and have come out stronger on the other side. It has not been sunshine and rainbows the entire time, but we have learned from those mistakes that we have made along the way, and we have used those lessons that we have learned moving forward. And we have applied those lessons to our relationship, be it through lessons from actual arguments or lessons in books or from the various counselors that Tracy and I have gone to and still go to. A lot of times people will ask you a solution to a problem, but then when you give them the answer that they are not wanting or not expecting, they don't go through with it. And it's like, you see me and you see where I am, and I'm telling you what I did to get here, but now you're telling me that that's unreasonable or that's not something you want to do, or you just don't do it because there wasn't just some one magical conversation to have that just fixes everything. And that's just not how real life works. I always say this to people because it's something relatable to everyone, I feel like, in pop culture or whatever, but LeBron James. But anyways, LeBron James, he has a coach too. LeBron James is one of the best basketball players in the world. I don't watch basketball, so I don't care, but that's what everybody says. He's one of the best basketball players in the world. He has a coach, he gets guidance, he has people that point out his weaknesses, and he takes those criticisms constructively and applies work ethic towards those specific areas of his craft and applies them in a way to improve. You have to do the same thing in your relationship. If you're going into a relationship with, this is just the way I am, and the other person needs to just love me anyway, or they just need to deal with it, or whatever, you're setting yourself up for failure, period. If that's the kind of mindset you have, well, I'm sorry for you, I'm sorry for your partner, I'm sorry for your relationship, and I'm sorry for any children involved or anyone else that gets caught in the wake of your selfishness. I have had to learn along the way that you can't just treat people however you want and then have unreasonable expectations in return. I cannot lose my shit, flip over a dresser and shatter a mirror, and then expect my wife to love and respect me in a way that I desire just because she's my wife and that's what she's supposed to do. It's not how it works. You can't be disrespectful and unloving and expect unreasonable amounts of love and respect in return. It doesn't matter if you're both wrong in the situation, regardless of what it is. Be the first person to be the bigger person. It doesn't matter if you're both wrong. Be the first one to apologize. Be the first one to say, you know what, the situation got out of hand and I'm sorry. I shouldn't have acted that way. And I guarantee you, it's not a competition of who goes first, but in today's day and age, it feels like people make it a competition. So just apologize first, and I promise you, If that person that loves you and respects you sees you be a little vulnerable and sees that humble nature, or just that willingness to admit that you were wrong in a genuine way, not a, hey, sorry, but a genuine apology of like, look, I love you, that got out of hand, I'm really sorry for what I said to you, and it would mean a lot to me if you would forgive me, and look, I promise moving forward that I will really work on that behavior. I guarantee you that moment right there would be a turning point in your relationship. And that person would see that. They would see a side of you they've never seen before, that vulnerability. And in return, they would be the type of person that says, you know what? I was wrong too. Thank you for apologizing, and I'm sorry as well. I don't want us to treat each other like that. My second point that I'd like to make is, there is power in saying things out loud. By admitting that you are wrong out loud, by admitting your insecurity or your vulnerability, you're being jealous, or you're being selfish, or whatever it is, you admitting that out loud provides yourself with some accountability the next time you're in that type of situation. You have said out loud to your partner, I am sorry, please forgive me. I promise that in the future, if this situation comes up again, that I'm really going to try and not repeat fill in the blank. And then you have to actually do that. I hear all the time, I just didn't think about it. It just happened. I'm sorry. That's just the way I am. That's not natural for me. Well, no, new behaviors aren't natural. Habits are natural. Have you ever just told yourself, I'm going to wake up at 6 a.m. every day, and then you just do it? No. But people have these unrealistic expectations that they can do that in their behavior in a relationship. If you don't think it's something you can actually do, if it's not a behavior that you think that on your own that you can change, you can do a couple of things. Tell this person, look, I'm really going to work hard to not repeat this behavior because I see what it does to you, and I don't want to hurt you in this way, and because I love you, I'm really going to work on this. But if in the future I do repeat this mistake, just know that I'm sorry, and just to please give me some grace, and to know that I'm really struggling. And if you see that this is a behavior that you can't change on your own, go get help. There is no shame in going to a counselor or a therapist or anything of that nature and asking for help. There's no handbook for a relationship. There's no freaking PDF on how to have the perfect relationship and communicate perfectly. Go get help. Go to a counselor. Quit being stubborn. Be vulnerable. Be humble. Say, you know what? I messed up. I can't change it. I can't fix it. I need help. Just do it. If you give a damn about your partner, if you give a damn about your spouse, if it's your kids, if it's whatever, go get help. And if you don't, well, then you have no one to blame. You cannot complain about something you're not willing to do something about. Being humble and being vulnerable and not making the relationship a competition has been the biggest game changer in my relationship with Tracy. Some of you, or most of you who are not aware, that about 3.5 years into our relationship, Tracy and I did separate for about 6 months. And believe me, when we got back together, I fully expected a shitstorm of potholes and speed bumps. And there were a few along the way, but we immediately went to couples counseling. And I highly suggest, if you're a couple who even is considering counseling, and guys, quit being so freaking stubborn and go to a damn counselor. Okay? You're not some baby back bitch for sitting in a room with a few people and opening up and releasing some emotions and telling people how you feel. Okay? That does not make you a little girl. That does not make you a sissy. That does not make you less of a man. If anything, your wife is going to respect you more. She's going to love you more. She's going to understand you better. Okay? I'm so sick and freaking tired of hearing these guys, oh, I'm not going to counseling. I'm not going to counseling. You're so weak. By trying to be such a tough guy, you just look like a big whiny baby. You look selfish, and it's pathetic. So stop. Back to what I was saying. I suggest if you go to a counselor, try to find a couple to go to. And not meet separately. Meet together, all 4 of you in a room. Tracy and I met with another married couple. And it was the coolest thing because I actually related, like the wife, I felt like her and I actually had similar personalities, and Tracy and the husband had similar personalities. So it was a really cool dynamic to be able to cross-reference each other, and Tracy was able to get reassurance from the woman that, you know, how I felt was legitimate, and vice versa. You know, she didn't see things, she was able to see things from a different perspective, but from someone that she could relate to. So if you have that ability and you have that opportunity available to you to meet with an actual couple, don't meet with them separately. Meet in the same room, because people are going to lie. People are going to tell the best versions of themselves, and they're always going to blame someone else. But when you're in a room together and you have to be vulnerable and you have to be humble and you have to tell the truth because you know the other person knows the truth, you can't hide from it. And that's how progress is actually made. There are a lot of people I care about that have gone through things that they shouldn't have had to go through because of one partner on one side or the other being selfish, stubborn, unreasonable, just bullheaded, narcissist, disrespectful, unloving. It can be fixed, but you have to want to change for the better. No, you're not gonna change me. Well, then guess what? You don't get to complain anymore. Everyone, if you're someone out there who is struggling in a relationship, please go get help. If you're in an abusive relationship, stop taking it, reach out for help. If you're in a relationship and you have communication issues, go find a relationship communication expert. If that's too much for you, read a book together. Get off your damn phone. Stop wasting your time. Stop wasting your relationship on fucking football every Saturday afternoon. Sit down with your wife and read a book. You have no idea what that quality time would mean to her, or vice versa. Ladies, stop making all of your jealousies and all of your insecurities someone else's problem. Sticking your man in a bubble and expecting him to stay there, and the moment he gets outside that bubble, you lose your shit. That's not his fault, that's yours. That's something you need to deal with. There's something going on with you that you need to work on. Don't blame him for your insecurities and your jealousies, because you know damn well that even if he fixed whatever that is, you're still going to be that type of person. You need to have faith and confidence in your man that he loves you and he feels the way about you that he says he is. Only reason I mention this is because I see it too often. Well, if he loves me, he should do this. Well, if you love him, you shouldn't expect him to do that. If you love him and you believe he loves you, that's manipulative, controlling behavior. I'm rambling here. There's just a lot on my mind, a lot of things in relationships that I see, a lot of ask-holes, people who ask for advice but just don't want to take it. And I understand it's hard. It's hard. And if you genuinely feel that you've exhausted every option and that other person just continues to abuse you in some way, further steps need to be taken, and you need to be okay with it. We have had friends and been in situations where they finally took that big step and they are a happier person now, and it's a beautiful thing to watch and a beautiful thing to see, and the other person spiraled into their own darkness, and it's very difficult to watch. It's sad. It's genuinely sad. It was pathetic, and now it's sad. If you have children involved, gosh, stop being so damn selfish. Quit being a narcissist. Quit being manipulative. Quit being controlling. And if you can't, or you're not willing to, shame on you. I will tell you this: it is better for your children to see the best version of you apart than it is to consistently see the worst in you together. I have learned from a lot of mistakes, and hopefully I have corrected most of those mistakes, and I'm still working on it. But I'll tell you, being humble, being vulnerable, and not being afraid to say, you know what, I messed up and I'm sorry, those three little things right there can be life-changing. Just some perspective that I felt that I should disperse out into the world. If you're listening to this and you listen to all of this, I appreciate you. I love you. I hope that whatever you're going through in some shape, form, or another gets resolved. I hope that you're able to look at yourself in the mirror one day and say, I made the right choice. And if you can't do that right now, you need to be honest with yourself and figure out a plan. All right, this is Andre, signing out. Peace.